What's up, everybody? I'm going to wait a couple seconds because I think because of the technical difficulties, a few people are going to be late into the stream. But yeah, finally we got this going. It's never done that before, so very, very strange. But I'm glad you guys are here. We got Tamar in the chat. We got Travis H. Santa Cruz in. What's going on? Whiskey Dong. How's it going? Go Habs. What's up, buddy? All right. We got the Balblair 99, which was bottled in 2017, making this potentially 18 years old. The Balblair 90, which was bottled in 2016, making this potentially 26 years old. The Balblair 91, bottled in 2018, potentially 27 years old. And the Balblair 83 over here on the end. This one was bottled in 2013, making it potentially 30 years old. As many of you guys know, Balblair has recently switched to all age-stated whiskeys. So these are considered vintage age, although many of us can do math and figure it out for ourselves. But now that they are age-stated, they can charge a lot more money. So that's essentially what has happened. We got a Rash in the chat. We got Christopher David in the chat. What's going on, guys? We got the Mash and Drum. Jason, how are you, my friend? Richard's in the house. We got Tamar, and we got my buddy Paulo over here. He's actually the provider of the 90 and 91. He's going to be drinking alongside me. The reason why we did it this way, so the 90 and 91 look to be kind of mixed up, but that's because the 91 is actually older liquid. It's potentially 27 years old, whereas the 90 is potentially 26 years old. But the 91 has to be at least 26 years old, and the 90 has to be at least 25 years old. So there's all that. Go Habs is saying, what is the price on the 83? In Canada, you can get the 83 still for between $400 and $500. So pretty reasonable considering it's almost 30 years old, if not actually 30 years old. I think it's pretty cool. Graham Young's in the house. He's saying, hey, Whiskey in the 6, Balblair time. That's right. It's Balblair time. I'm going to start with the 99, which is right here. I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit of a color comparison. We got the 90 right here, a little bit darker, as you can see. Then we got the 91, which is a little lighter than the 90, actually. Near the same, but I think the 90 takes it a touch. And then the 83 is lighter than probably all of these, and the reason for that is it is 100% bourbon cask. The rest of them are a combination of ex-bourbon and ex-European oak sherry cask. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. Gentlemen, ladies, if you have a question, comment, concern, please just tag me at Whiskey in the 6. You got to put the spacing in between the words and the number, and then it'll show up red on my screen, and then at least I know you're talking to me specifically. And Whiskey Shenanigans is saying, it's about time someone does this. Yes, I agree. And Jason Fisk is saying, yo, Robbie, what's up, buddy? Nice to see you. P-Boss in the house. That's my buddy Paul over here in the background. So if I miss anything, he's pretty good at picking it up. Jay Chung saying, won't be able to stay for long, but we'll definitely catch the replay. Thanks for jumping in, buddy. Appreciate it. And we got Whiskey Throttle in the house as well. What's up, Daniel? Kevin Mayato's in the house as well. Chad Adams. I don't think I missed anybody. I think I got everybody. But oh, and Catherine Bono, what's going on? She's saying, got my 90 in the glass. That's awesome. All right. So to the 99. So I get a nice sherry note on the 99. This is like I said, potentially 18 years old. It's a combination of bourbon and sherry like Balblair usually does. There's a nice vanilla note to this one as well. So I'm going to nose taste each one as I go, and then I'm going to give each one a grade and kind of rank them as well. I haven't actually reviewed any of these on my channel. So this will be a cool night. Paul's going to try not to be Silent Bob tonight. He's actually going to say some stuff.
And you haven't tried the 90 or 91 yet.
I haven't tried the 90 or 91 yet, but that's assuming that it's very different than the 90 2015 that was my whiskey of the year, the second year I ran this channel. Second year? First year? I can't remember. It's all a haze. Peter White's in the house. I saw Sid, what's going on? And Rick, I believe I didn't say hello to Rick. How's it going, guys? Hope you're all doing well. All right, so really nice on the nose, the 18. I really like it. On the palate, so each one of these are bottled at 46%. But
it's hard.
The 18-year-old, for whatever reason, and this was kind of my beef with it all along, it drinks way hotter than 46%. It's going to need a drop of water. But it is pretty hot for an 18-year-old. Yeah, I'm going to take a second sip, but it's pretty hot.
Doesn't seem like it on the nose.
No, it does not. That's a good point, actually. It does not seem like it's going to be hot based on the smell. But then when you taste it, it's got a sharp note to it. BB Japs in the house. What's up, brother? He's saying hi to P-Boss as well. Claire the Third's in the house. He's saying, what's with the wolf kid shirt? This is the Sixer kickboxing shirt. All right. That's the, we're Starks up here in the north. Size extra small. Yeah, exactly. It's size extra small. Second sip, a little bit better, not as hot. It definitely does a little bit better with some water. I'm going to take one more sip of the 18 and then move on. So what I will say, there is some nice ex-bourbon and ex-sherry notes coming through here. You get vanillas. You get some, fruity type notes as well. Some reminiscent of what you would expect from a refill sherry cask. So the palate's actually improved quite a bit. When I first opened this bottle, it was super bitter, like bitter orange peel. And now it's become more, I guess, like a sweeter orange. So it's not as bitter, which is really, really good. I'm glad that happened, but definitely a little hotter than I would expect for an 18-year-old.
Better with water.
Mm-hmm. And definitely better with water. So before I move on, based on all the times that I've tasted this, and it's got a nice little dent in it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's probably it's approaching the halfway mark. I'm going to probably have to give this one an A-. I'm going to say 83 is fair. And it's actually bumped up 2 marks. I was going to go with an 81 earlier, but this last couple sips improved that mark a little bit. So at around $120-ish, depending on where you're buying it, is it a buy? Maybe if you're a huge Balblair fan, sorry. But I would probably pass on this one if I had to. I definitely won't be replacing this bottle. A couple questions before I move on to the 90. Kevin Mayato saying, any reason why you didn't include the Gordon MacPhail 1993 Balblair, or did you just want to do the core range? I was thinking mainly just core range. There's a few reasons. So core range is one answer. ABV is another. These are all 46%. That one there is a cask strength, and then the third is that it's a single cask. So it's not a fair comparison, in my opinion. And it's an independent bottler as well. So
consider the vintages of Balblair.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we don't know necessarily that Balblair was aged in a Balblair distillery or warehouse. Is probably moved to a Gordon MacPhail warehouse, right? So Anyway, like I said, that's an 83. Good stuff, but not something I'm going to run out and buy. If there's something better on the shelf, I'll probably go with that. Kenneth is saying, you're a tough grader, Rob. Maybe. I get accused of the opposite usually, to be honest with you.
Claire the Third is saying that an 83 is a B minus.
83, according to Americans, is a B minus. I'm curious what the people from the UK think about that. I don't know necessarily if the grading system in the UK is similar to that of Canada, but I'm pretty sure there's most places in the world consider an 83 an A minus. Onto the 90, which is potentially 26 years old, but for sure 25 years old. Also, combination of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry, but I will say that this being the darkest, I feel like there's probably at least more first fill sherry in the 90 than in the 91, and definitely the 99.
And a year older than your whiskey of the year.
Yeah, and this one's a year older than the one I chose as a whiskey of the year. I guess that was a couple years ago, which was the 2015 bottling. Whiskey Shenanigans says, no, I will not be replacing the 99. No, honestly, it's good, but it's just not worth replacing, I don't think. But the nose on this 90 is gorgeous. Definitely more sherry influence on this one, I think.
Get more bourbon on the 99.
Yeah, a lot more bourbon notes on the 99. This one's a little bit more red fruit, a little bit more chocolate forward. All right, on the palate. Way smoother right off the hop. You're not getting that super heat that you get from the 99. A lot more chocolate and espresso on the back end, which is really nice. Man, I miss that taste. This does taste similar to that 90 that I tasted back in the day. It might be amped up a little bit because of the extra year, but very nice stuff. We got the Scotch Test dummies in the house. We got some celebrities in the house, guys. What's going on, Scotty? Nice to see you, buddy. Jay Chung says, I got that 90 off of your review. Awesome, Jay. Glad to hear it. Hope you enjoy it. Peter White and Claire the Third are going at it about marks and all sorts of other things in the chat. Whiskey Shenanigans is saying it's because the New Age statement. Yeah. All right. One more sip for the 90 here. Really nice.
It lingers, eh?
Yeah. Off the hop, you get like nice orange flavor, and then it breaks off into like a darker chocolate espresso on the back end. And that espresso note just kind of lingers. And like the finish on this is the key here. For 46%, it's got a beautiful finish, a beautiful mouthfeel as well. It's surprising. Like, it's got a bit of a punch to it too, considering it's only 46%. One more sip. And I think that spiciness is definitely coming from the high likelihood that there is first fill sherry in this, in my opinion.
So well-rounded.
Super well-rounded. Yeah, that's really nice stuff. People asked, not doing the 90/2017 tonight. Sorry, Jasper is tagging both of us in that comment. Not tonight. We decided not to open that because we had already 4 going. So we said the 2016 should do.
Fair comparison, I'll open for a while. So.
Yeah. Catherine Bono saying, I find the 90 to be extra strong on the nose, but doesn't taste hot. Yeah. I could see that. I can see where she's coming from with that. The thing is with the nose is you can adjust the distance from your actual nose, whereas on the palate, once it hits you, if it's hot, it's hot. Like the only thing you can do is add water, right? So
This tastes perfect. Like it's the 99 is too over. Over.
I keep saying I'm gonna go on, but I keep wanting to go back to the 90. I guess I have to give this a mark. I think a fair mark for this, and it's probably mainly because of the finish, is this is a 90. So matching up with the vintage year, I really, really like this whiskey. I probably didn't even score my original Balblair 90 a 90, but this one's definitely an A+ for me. Really, really nice stuff. I like that.
90s at that point.
I hadn't given a 90 at that point yet, but that's changed.
I don't want to drink water,
Yeah. All right, so on to the 91.
No need to add water, by the way. If you want to.
No, exactly. So the 99, if you have a bottle, add a few drops of water. That's definitely gonna improve your experience. The 90, you can add a drop, maybe like literally a drop just to see what opens up, but it's not necessary in my opinion.
And the 91 stronger in the nose.
Yeah, there's a different, like a fruitier element to it, but it
pops.
Yeah.
Get that orange peel again.
Yeah.
Citrus.
So again, I don't know how Balblair decides to play with their usage of ex-bourbon and ex-sherry casks, but this one's pretty cool.
It's different than 90.
Yeah. Really, really nice on the nose. All right, on the palate. Okay, so far, I would say that the 91 definitely has more bourbon influence than sherry influence again. So you go from the 90 having more sherry influence to the 91 that has more bourbon, ex-bourbon influence, but super smooth as well. Really, really well balanced. Yeah. Rick is saying the 91 looks lighter in color than the 90. Yeah, and you're 100% right. Less sherry. I think that's exactly why. The 91 definitely has, in my opinion, less sherry than the 90, and it's definitely lighter as well. DDIY Network says T-Dot represent. Great lineup, Rob. Thanks, Eugene. Nice to see you, buddy. But really, really nice. That 91 is really, really nice. It's got a great balance to it. Some really nice vanilla notes. Not as much as like on the finish, you don't get as much as you do from the 90. You get more chocolate and espresso from the 90, whereas the 91 doesn't seem to linger as much as the 90. Scotch Test Dummy is saying, why are you in the kitchen? Scotty hasn't been around for a while. I do pretty much all my lives in the kitchen nowadays, just because I usually have guests over for the live, so it's a bigger space. It's a little less cramped. Eric White saying, have you seen any of the new Balblair age statement and label bottlings on the shelf? I haven't seen any on the shelf, but I will say that I don't plan on buying any because these were incredibly well priced. And now that they stuck an age on the bottle, they feel like they can charge literally 5 times what they were charging before. I think a direct comparison would be this 90 2016, which can still be acquired for less than $200 Canadian, right? 180 on average, like depending on where you are or whatever. Whereas the new 25-year-old, so this is actually at least a year older, or potentially a year older anyway, than the new 25-year-old. The new 25-year-old apparently has older whiskey inside of it as well, but it goes for like, I think, €500. So it's an absurd price. So I don't plan on buying any of the new ones, to be honest with you, unless I hear incredible things. I won't be the guinea pig on that one, that's for sure. Last sip on the 91, and then I'm going to move to the 83.
I wonder if I had a drop of water if it'll open it up.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna add a drop of water. This one I think would do well with some water because there is like a chalky dark chocolate note in there. Like it wants to come, exactly, like as if it wants to come out. Maybe a drop of water would help here. Really nice though. But I keep going back to this 90 in comparison because they're supposed to be. The 91 is a replacement for the 90. And then I guess they decided, okay, forget this. Let's scrap this idea. Let's just come out with an age statement. So this is the last year that Balblair decided to do an vintage. Yeah.
Smell the difference.
Yeah.
See the difference?
Oh, yeah. Like 90 is so much more sherry, right? Jay Chung is saying we should all boycott the 25 at least. Force them to lower the price. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Okay. So the 91 being potentially 27 years old. Really, really nice though. It's so close for me because I'm really liking ex-bourbon dominated casks lately. You get a lot of that distillery characteristic. That's a tough one. I'm going to have to make it a tie between these two because it's just so hard to choose. I think if you're a big sherry guy, the 90 is an easy choice for you. But I think if you prefer whiskeys that are not as heavily sherried, then the 91 is better for you. So literally a coin flip between the 90 and 91, and literally they both get a 90. In my opinion. So we're at 83, 90, and 90. 83, 90, 90. Now we're on to the 83.
Maybe that drop of water will bring that up a notch.
It's true. I think a drop of water might actually bring up the 91, and the 91 could take. But then again, I didn't add a drop of water in the 90 either, right? So keeping this fair. So now on to the 83, which has the most fruity, tropical fruit-like nose. Like I'm getting coconuts and banana, some mango in like the background somewhere.
It reminds me of like an Irish kind of.
Yeah, it's got. That's a great point. It's got a like very similar nose to like some Irish whiskeys that we've tried lately. Eric Wade saying, I have the Balblair 99 second edition. Isn't that a okay, maybe, I don't know. I really like it. And after being open for 6 months, it was even better. My 99 has been open for what? Like a good 4 or 5 months at least, if not more. So it's not like it's not getting a fair shake. It's been open for a while. I liked it most today, and it probably will improve. Maybe I'll just let it sit in the bottle for like another year or whatever. But
and again, maybe if you're just having that, it might be good. But when
you compare it with the League Elite, yeah, it makes it a little, yeah, exactly. Tom R is saying you need to add a drop of the 90 in the 99 to open it up. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Catherine Bono is saying PA has the 83 also, but it's 500 USD. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but it's also almost 30 years old or potentially 30 years old, and it's a dying breed. They're not making that 83 anymore. That 83 is gone. Once it's gone forever. So
same with the rest of it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Actually, all of these now, to be honest with you. but the 83's been gone for some time, right? So
that's the one that's most available. I think it's at the price point too, right?
well, a lot of people like swear by this whiskey, right? And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's so like I said, lots of tropical fruit. This is all fruit. It's like fruit forward, fruit salad. That's what I'm getting here. This one drinks almost like a cognac to me because it's got this like crazy sweet oaky flavor that you don't get from most whiskeys. You could tell they use some elite ex-bourbon casks. It's only ex-bourbon. Man, that's smooth.
And it's different than those other bourbon comparisons.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell like there's something special
Unique.
about the. So this bottle was opened last year when the day after I went to the Spirit of Toronto 2018. So literally just over a year ago. It was on my daughter's baptism.
It became a dusty.
And it literally became a dusty, but there's like literally the heel of the bottle left. Not much. Whiskey Throttle is asking if I've ever tried the 69. I have not. I'm assuming that's probably Gangster. Maybe you could send me some, Daniel. Man, the nose on this is incredible.
You just want to keep nosing.
I know. And that's the thing about older whiskey, right? Like once you start to get to like high 20s, 30s and up, you can nose those things for like hours.
It's not overly oaky or anything.
No, it's not overly oaky. It's not. You could tell like it's a nice combination of casks. Like they probably did use a couple first fill ex-bourbon casks, but maybe a couple of second fill, third fill ex-bourbon casks. You never know, right? Matthew Fowler is saying, I think it has to be said about all the prior Balblairs, but this one does well with a fair amount of water. I think all of them could use a little bit of water, right? I think a drop or two in each one of these would improve all of them. I kept it even by not doing that because I wanted to see without water what it would be like. But yeah, I think this one could use a drop of water as well. Maybe open it up a little bit more. But this has been sitting for almost an hour now.
Donald Rance just joined.
What's going on, Donald? Dram Dude's in the house as well. Man. So this is the smoothest out of the group. Obviously, it's the oldest, like the most likely to be that way. But what I love about this one is, and I go back to that comment I made about like a cognac. I get this like note from a cognac, this beautiful like syrupy warmth. That's like the best way to describe it. Probably doesn't make any sense, but that syrupy warmth comes from like an oakiness and like a spice, and it's definitely present in the 83. And because of that, it's my favorite of the bunch, I think. I don't know. This is what, your second or third time trying this?
Second.
And what do you think? Like, what do you think you would grade this one?
I'd grade it probably top.
Like, so if I went back, I probably would go, if I had to rank them, I'd probably rank them from best to worst: 83, 90, 91, and 99. But these are so close that it's really hard to tell. But I think...
But again, the difference, right? The sherry compared to the bourbon.
Exactly.
That puts it one mark above.
Exactly. It just...
drink you are.
It's got a little bit more of a dynamic feel to it, the 90.
More going on.
Yeah, there's a little bit more going on. That espresso note, as you guys can tell, I'm a big espresso fan. So that espresso note really does well for the 90. And if you don't like that kind of chocolatey espresso note on the back end, then you're probably going to like the 91 better. But for me, it's going to be a 91 for the 83. I think really, really, really good stuff. And then the 90, which gets a 90. I don't give half points, but if I did, this would probably be a half point less than 91. And then I go over to the 99. That's my opinion. All four of these are great. I think the 99 disappointed me the most when I first tried it because I expected big things because it's Balblair. I love Balblair. Everybody knows I love Balblair. I expected them to be, or the 99 anyway, to be much better than it actually turned out to be, in my opinion. If you guys have tried these, let me know what you think. Rick is saying, is 83 worth the 90 plus 91 combined? That's a great question. I don't think you can say yes to that, just because
I'd still buy two rather than.
I'd still rather probably buy these two than that. Like it's not that drastic of an improvement.
Depending on where you are, some people say it was over $500.
Yeah. So soon this will be who knows how much, right? Like I think this is a highly collectible bottle, the 83. I'd probably go with 2 90s
if you could find it,
or 3 90s, depending on the price, instead of the 83, right? I think that's the better buy.
I think the 83 is more upfront with everything, whereas the 90 builds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Tom R is saying, Rob, I sent you a picture on Facebook of my 83 single cask bottle. The box is tan and the liquid is darker. So any type of single cask coming from pretty much any distillery is likely going to be way better than the standard release of that same stuff. Put it this way, if they used 1,000 bourbon casks that were 30 years old, or at least distilled in 1983 and bottled all together, then they, out of all those, chose the best 5 and said, no, this is not going to go into that blend, that 83 blend. This is going to go on its own into single casks. Then 100% you're going to get better whiskey out of those, right? And then probably going to be a higher ABV as well. Graham Young, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. He says, thanks for finally doing this lineup. Balblair 90 for all. Absolutely. My pleasure, buddy. It's been a long time coming. I've been meaning to review all of these for a long time, especially the 83. I'm going to show you guys really quickly what my 83 looks like. It's kind of scary. Sorry about the refocusing all the time. I'm moving quite a bit, so it's not helping. That's what's left of my 83. So not much, but we will enjoy this over the next little while. I love what they did with the boxes in the past. I wonder, I think the new bottlings are all like black or the dark, different, like just solid colors, not the horizon look or whatever. Eric Wade saying Balblair 83 is 296 to 462 US. So that's a big discrepancy. Obviously, if you can get it for 296, I think that's an absolute steal. That's probably around 400 Canadian. But more than that, like 462 American, that's too much. That's too much. Claire the Third saying jabroni time. So the jabroni for now is permanently on my shelf upstairs for when I do standard reviews. You can catch him hanging out in the background, watching over my stash. We're gonna retire him for a little bit, just to get rid of the stigma, maybe.
I don't know. I think these are so good that I can justify spending triple the amount of money on.
Yeah, that's a solid point. For those of you that didn't hear, Paulo's saying, like, I think he's speaking about the 90 or the 91. They're so good that to spend triple or like even double to get a whiskey that's a little bit better, maybe not worth it, right?
Take a chance.
Yeah. I think there's a higher likelihood, those of you that like sherry cask whiskey, you're going to like the 90 the best. You're definitely going to like the 83 better than the 91 because they're both heavily ex-bourbon. One is more so than the other. But there's a nice balance that kind of gives something for everybody in the 91 that none of these actually do, in my opinion. So there's something for everybody here in this range. It's unfortunate that they moved away from it. It's unfortunate that they moved toward the age-stated whiskeys, in my opinion. But
another point, do you think they used maybe different barrels? Because the 83, it was bottled in 2013. So there's a 5-year span before they bottled the 91.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe those barrels that they used for the 83 were that much better than the ones that they used for the 91.
That's a good point.
Right?
That's a good point, yeah.
It's 5 years.
Yeah.
Go through a lot of barrels, right?
That's true. Yeah, no, as far as money goes, your best bang for your buck in this range is the 90 and the 91. 100%. 100%. There's some comments I saw here that I thought were interesting. Jabroni forever. Yeah, it's true. We're all Jason and I are known to be the jabronis of whiskey too.
Matthew Fowler has an 83 bottled in 2015.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is that a 46%, Matthew, or is that a cask strength single cask? What is that one?
It's the Australian, 389 Australian dollars. What is that?
I think Australian dollars is like around Canadian dollars, like very similar, if not a little bit less.
So 389.
Could be a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure. They're not far. 389. So yeah, that's a really good price, I think. I could be wrong. Let's have a quick look at that. Oh, Tom R actually sent me the picture. Now I remember him sending that to me a while back. This is the 83. I'm gonna see if it comes up on there. 55 point, what's that? 2%?
Yep.
55.2%. 83 bottled in 2014. So this is probably, and that's dark. I don't even know if that's ex-bourbon anymore. That looks like that's got to be sherry influenced. That's got to be a sherry cask, that 83. That's really cool, Tom. Yeah, feel free to send that up north if you want, man. That looks really nice. Matthew's saying, yes, 46%, not meant to be as nice as the 13, though. The 13 has a reputation. The 2013 83 has a reputation. A lot of people know about it. A lot of people love it. Roy Aquavite is one of them who just swears by the 83. I think it is delicious stuff, so I can totally understand why. Going back to the nose on the 99, I almost want to put it away. I'm considering dumping that whiskey. There's a bit of an ammonia note that I'm getting, which I didn't get at first, but after tasting like some premium stuff going back to it, I'm getting it. And that's probably what I didn't like from this from day one. Yeah, it's there. It's definitely there. So that's interesting. I'm not sure how I missed that before.
Tomar said he shared it with Whiskey Shenanigans. If you make it to Indy, he'll bring you some.
Maybe eventually. The Scotch 4 Dummies keep inviting me down there, so hopefully eventually I can hang out with a bunch of you guys. DJ Wan saying, next time if you go into Hangouts, check your latency. Make sure it's set to normal, not low. You know what? To be honest with you, it was all set up properly. But for whatever reason, the live stream button at the bottom wasn't showing up. We were looking for it. We couldn't figure out what was going on. I restarted my computer, still nothing. I literally had to start a brand new stream, and that's why we're in here as opposed to where it was announced earlier. So
we're at 55 watching.
Yeah, not bad. I don't know if I can adjust the latency now, but maybe it's best I don't. I'm going back to the 90. Really, really nice. It's awesome stuff.
It's good different though than the 83.
Yeah, completely different. Honestly, the 90, I could definitely see some people liking the 90 better than the 83. Actually, Scott from the Scotch Test Dummies in particular, I think he would love this 90, maybe more so than any of these others, because it definitely has like a super sherry feel to it. Really, really nice. Beautiful finish.
Now has me thinking if the 2017 is,
Yeah, and now I'm wondering if the 2017 is as good. Good thing I got a couple of those. So, what are you guys drinking tonight? A couple things I want to talk about in just a sec, but I'm curious what you guys are thinking about, or what you guys are drinking tonight anyway. Yeah, the 90 definitely beats out the 91 for me.
I would drop water, see.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a touch of water to each one. It's never fun using this big bottle to add a touch, but I've gotten pretty good at it. There we go. Balcones True Blue Cask Strength. Scotch Test Dummy, Scotty. Very cool. Dusty Dan's whiskey reviews. He's drinking Wild Turkey. Which Wild Turkey, Dan? Preston is drinking Glenfiddich 12. Tom R is drinking Balblair 91 first release. Is this the first release here? This is the third release, this one here. Go Habs is saying go Blues. It's 1-0, I believe, or is it 1-1 now?
1-1.
Oh, it's 1-1. Go Raptors. Although I apologize to all my California friends, but I mean, the Raptors are winning the series 2-1 at the moment, so pretty cool stuff. Eric Wade is saying he's having a dry night in preparation for the Whiskey Palooza on the Whiskey Dicks channel tomorrow night. Very cool.
Mash and Drum was drinking Bunnahabhain duty-free bottle when he came up to Canada.
That's the one he bought when he came up to Canada, yeah. He left with a few bottles, so good thing he didn't get any attention at the border. All right, I managed to put like very little water, but just enough in each of these, so that's pretty cool. I'll let you know if anything changes. Steve A is drinking SMWS 13.64. Happy in the potting shed? Dalmore. Interesting. Very cool. How old is that one, Steve? Chris Ruth is saying go Raptors. Absolutely, buddy. Graham Young said, had Balblair 83 2015. Very cool. Then 04. 99, 90, all Balblair tonight. That's awesome, buddy. Stevie is saying that Dalmore is a 10-year-old. Very cool.
And that's what I like too, eh? So how they're all so different. So depending on what type of dram you want to have that night.
Yeah.
Pick up a Balblair and say, you know what? I want a sherry bomb tonight. I want to or
that's
bourbon.
true.
Also, they taste a little like cognac.
That's a great point. Yeah. Each one of these three gives you a completely different feel. Like I said, going back to that 99, this is the third release of the 99. So it's, like I said, bottled in 2017. I don't know. There's something about it I'm not loving.
Curious how the 2000 compares to this one.
Yeah, because the 2000, the 00 is a 2018 release, right? So that'll be interesting. Maybe they do their even numbers heavily sherried and their odd numbers heavily bourbon. That right? I don't know.
That's a good point.
Would be interesting to find that out. Although, yeah, well, because the 97 that I had back in the day, it was a single cask, and that was sent to me by Tamer from Quebec. Cask strength, single cask, ex bourbon only. That one had all kinds of crazy. Remember that one? That was like very fruit heavy, very like tropical fruit heavy. That was really good too. That one. Really nice. So Go Habs pretty much hates everything Toronto, and he's saying that the Raptors suck.
Whiskey Quests joined us.
What's going on? Antonio, how are you, buddy?
That 90.
Yeah, this 90 is awesome.
You want to keep drinking it, smelling it.
Okay, so coming up in a little while, not a little while, this Tuesday. So I'm switching over to Tuesdays because it seems like all of Whiskey Tube releases a video on Monday. So to politely like move away from the competition, as a Canadian would do, I've decided to change to Tuesdays. I just think it gives you guys the opportunity to view on different days. A lot of people watch the day it comes out, and that's great. But when it's flooded on Monday, you probably can, like, things can get caught up in the mix, and then I just think it'll be better to do Tuesdays. So I'm going to do Tuesdays from now on. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Thursday at 8:30 always. It just, this time slot works great for me because the kids are sleeping, the wife's out teaching a fitness class, and it gives me a little bit of time of quiet in here. There's usually something good on the TV in the background. That's another reason why I tend to do it from the kitchen / living room area. So this Tuesday is the Longrow. I guess you can call it a rundown, but it's not really a rundown. It's Longrow 2019. So although I shouldn't even call it 2019 because I'm going to have the Longrow Red Pinot Noir, the 11-year-old, the newest one that came out. I'm going to have the Longrow 14 Sherry Cask, and then I'm going to have the Longrow 17-year-old Chardonnay Single Cask. All three very good. You guys are going to find out which one I like best. Very quickly, I got a couple super chats and over here. I got the Mash and Drum. Thank you, Jason. He says, great rundown of this range. Huge fan of the 90. Cheers. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. Scotty just dropped a super chat. The Scotch Test Dummies. Literally celebrities in the Whiskey Tube world these days. They're like approaching 20,000 very, very quickly. He's saying, go Raptors. Van Vliet from Wichita State. Yeah, honestly, Van Vliet's been a very, very pleasant surprise. He's been incredible. Toronto needs a win, guys. Toronto needs this win. The Leafs have sucked for far too long. The Blue Jays haven't won it since the 90s. The Raptors have never won it. And we could really use a W right now. So I'm hoping the Raptors can get two more and finish this series. It would be nice. It would be very, very nice. So, like I said, this Tuesday, expect the Longrow rundown. And then on Thursday of next week, I will be doing a blind challenge against Jeremy. So Jasper has bottled, put together some samples for us head-to-head. It's going to be a little bit of a competition. So far, Jeremy has not fared very well against me. I can't wait till he watches the playback. I guess them's fighting words, but it's all in good fun. I can't wait. This Thursday, he has an opportunity to redeem himself, I think, of the last one where he completely deterred me from the right answer, which I got within seconds. So anyway, good times. Next Thursday, blind challenge. And I'm expecting – not that I should be expecting, but Jasper's kind of hinted that there's some pretty epic stuff in these samples. So stay tuned. I think you guys are going to want to see that one. That's next Thursday. So Long Girl this Tuesday, blind challenge on Thursday, and then the following Tuesday is going to be the Springbank 9 local barley, the Springbank 21-year-old 2019, and the Springbank 25-year-old 2019. So once that's done, then I'll probably have a couple odds and ends that I want to review in the Scotch world before I get into July, because July is going to be my American whiskey month this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys are ready for this. Scotty's saying, I don't know about the celebrity talk. Pretty close, man. You guys are killing it. Go Habs says, yes, the Leafs suck. Go Habs is very jealous because he lives in a city that's always overshadowed by my city. He has a favorite team that's always overshadowed by my favorite team. So he's pretty jealous. It's okay. Honestly, Go Habs, I love you, man. It's all good. Jason Fisk says Balvenie Doublewood. Honestly, I called that like in 2 seconds. And then Jeremy did everything in his power to like deter me from actually believing what it was. So we'll see what happens next time. Chris Ruth says, I think the Leafs will win the Stanley Cup in 2021. I don't know, man. We'll see. Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but they don't like making trades. The NHL doesn't like announcing trades during the Stanley Cup finals or during the playoffs at all. But that doesn't mean that you can't make trades. They just won't announce it. So apparently, Kadri's been traded for Jacob Trouba from Winnipeg. So I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, we could definitely use the defenseman. So that's pretty cool. Man, with a little water, this 83 is bonkers. So fruity. We are approaching the 1 hour mark. Anybody have any questions? Anything they've noticed in the last little while? Has anybody tried the new Balblair age-stated whiskeys? I find it really funny that people are not willing to buy vintage-released whiskeys. Like they're usually priced 1/4, 1/2 the price of a age-stated whiskey because of the fact that it has an age on it.
I think Balblair is one of the only ones who does that, from my knowledge.
So it's been, they are definitely one of the few. There are releases. That only did that. That's exactly right. There are releases from other distilleries that are vintage releases, but for whatever reason, age-stated whiskeys tend to sell for way more than vintage releases. And it doesn't make sense, which is why for the longest time, Macallan was putting the vintage date on the bottle, but still putting the age statement on there as well. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
It's kind of nice to know when it was distilled, when it was bottled, right?
Yeah,
it's nice to know that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. A prime example of this actually is a company that tends to charge a lot for their whiskey. So you got Highland Park 18-year-old, which is in Canada $200. You got the Full Volume, which technically is a vintage release. They don't actually say anywhere on the bottle that it's 17 years old, but if you can do math, it's at least 17 years old. It could be potentially, or it could have at least 18-year-old whiskey in it. But that's like $70 to $80 less than the 18-year-old, which floors me because it's a limited release. It's a vintage release that's almost the same age. It really makes no sense to me. So I find that very interesting.
Whiskey Quest didn't know about that.
What's that?
The Full Volume.
Yeah. The Full Volume is at least 17 years old. It's potentially like it's got some 18-year-old whiskey in it as well, but I think there's a minimum of 17 years old. It says it actually, the vintage years, I think it's on the box or on the bottle. I can't remember exactly, but it's incredible whiskey. I love it. I think it's one of Highland Park's best expressions in the last few years. And the fact that it's like $130 Canadian is a steal. It's an absolute steal. Tim is saying that he loved the full volume. Honestly, everybody I recommended the full volume to told me they loved it. There's not many people that didn't like it.
Catherine Bono said they're making a bad move. They got a niche market that loves them, and they're going to lose that market to the masses.
Yeah, I agree. I think they felt a little bit of pressure because they're brother companies. I believe Balblair, Old Pulteney, and Anok are all the same company. I could be wrong. Peter White would know this. He's the one that actually I've talked to him about this. Confirm if I'm correct or incorrect, but they all kind of seem to be going in the same direction with the style of bottling, the style that they're going about. And I hope that Anok doesn't follow suit in price, because Anok is still very, very well priced. The 18 is well priced. The 24-year-old is great stuff and is well priced as well. So I hope they don't follow suit with the price range. But Old Pulteney definitely changed everything up. We did the rundown recently of that. They haven't really increased the prices too much though. So I'm very curious as to why Balblair has. I know that maybe it's because of the fact that they have a huge fan base that they felt like they could, but I feel like they're going to lose a lot of fans because of this. All right, guys. I think it says we got about 50. What do we have going?
47.
47.
48.
Guys, appreciate you all tuning in tonight. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos. If you get a chance to rewatch any of this, or even just later on, leave a comment. Let me know if these kind of live streams are what you're looking for, or if there's something else that you're looking for. I think this is the style that I would kind of want to go with on my live streams. I don't want to make it, I don't know. I like the idea of being able to review more whiskeys in my live streams, just because it's a long hour, and for people to stay tuned, I want to give them something that they're able to like at least learn from. Hopefully I've given you some perspective on these 4 whiskeys and given you some ideas as to where you should direct your money. Peter White saying the Anok 35 year is 1,000, and the 1975, which was bottled in 2014, is 500. I don't understand. That's a perfect point. You know what I mean? That's exactly what we were talking about. It's age stated versus vintage. That Anok 1975 is bonkers. It's phenomenal.
39 years old.
Yeah, 39 years old. Yeah, it was literally one of the best whiskeys I've ever had in my life. And the fact that you can get that for anything under $1,000 is absurd. And the fact that the 35-year-old, which I've heard is actually not as good or nowhere near as good, is double the price, is also absurd. So, that's about it. I think we're going to tune out there, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to tune in to the Scotch for Dummies. They will be going live in probably about 20, what is that? 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So hope to see you guys next week for Jeremy and I's blind challenge. Hope to see a bunch of you guys commenting on the next video, which will be released this Tuesday, which will consist of 3 different types of long rows. I think you guys will like that video, especially if you're a Springbank fan. Thanks, guys.
Jason C. dropped the super chat.
Oh, it came in late over here for some reason. Thank you very much, James C. Really appreciate it, buddy. He says, thanks for this rundown. Waiting for a while. Absolutely, buddy. I appreciate it. And I apologize to all of you guys who have been watching these bottles and many other bottles on my channel for a very long time, wondering when Rob was going to actually review them. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night. And maybe I'll catch you in the chat later on. Cheers.